Aha! I saw a bunch of people in local and I got suspicious. I was like, is there a mining op going on here? And there is. The Albers 5 Athanor has popped. There are a bunch of Hulks and an Orca here mining Titanite and Xenotime and Spherolite and beautiful Xenotite and lavish Sperrylite. Oh my goodness. They don't like seeing me here though, I don't think. I'm not sure if we're going to try to scoot in here with a venture while they are all there actively mining. That is a lot of drone DPS from all of those Hulks. But there's a chance that they might not mine every single rock. Some of those rocks are going to be more valuable than others. So we're going to be keeping a very, very close eye on that Athanor in Albres. And if those Hulks and that Orca leave, we will be on their scraps like a rabid raccoon, scooping it all up and hoping that maybe somewhere in there is a little bit of moon goo that we can actually use to build a Cynabal. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. Okay, so I've looked up the asteroids that those Hulks were mining. The Titanite contains titanium, which we don't need, but the Sperrylite has platinum, which we don't need, and evaporate deposits, which we do, and then the Xenotime has atmospheric gases, which we also need. And I've realized I cannot bring myself to sit around on my hands knowing that the rocks that we need are right there in system. So we're hopping in Vera and we're gonna go see how ready those Hulks actually are to defend their rocks. Let's go. So Sperrylite and Xenotime, we're gonna warp in and we're going to see if we can find one of those two types of asteroids that's separate from the rest of the group. Hope that we can warp over to it and get at least one cycle off before the swarm of drones descends upon us. We want to ideally get the base Sperrylite and Xenotime, not the like sparkling or exceptional or whatever. Because then if we have to do it a bit at a time, we'll have an opportunity to try and find more of the same later. Sperrylite. The cycle's starting. They're not moving yet. Are they just going to let us do this? Are those Hulks going to sit there and watch us mining their rocks right out from underneath them? Please do, don't mind us. Just a little Sperrylite harvesting here. Just a lone venture. Our first cycle is complete. We have 36 Sperrylite. We need 100 before we can reprocess it. We have 32 Sperrylite, so we actually need 3 more cycles before we'll have enough to do 1 reprocess load. Oh, man. This is tense. There are 11 people in local, and I see 7 Hulks here. 11 people in local other than us. That leaves 4 ships to potentially be cloaked and creeping up on us. Maybe this base level Sperrylite is not the most valuable thing here, and they don't really mind that we're mining it. 64. There is, after all, lavish Sperrylite, just 52 kilometers away. They're still not moving. Okay, now we have to look at how much evaporate deposits we actually need. How much Sperrylite do we need to mine? 1 load gives 10, I think? Because we need 400 evaporate deposits. Is it? Oh man, I wish I'd looked this up in advance. If 1 unit gives 10 evaporate deposits, then 1 load will give us 1,000, modulo the reprocessing efficiency. If 1 load gives us 10, then we're actually going to need 40 loads. Okay, we can end our cycle early now, and we have 106. We're going to take this back to the station, and we're going to see how much this 106 Sperrylite reprocesses into, and then we'll know if we need to go get more batches or not, or if we can move on to the Xenotime. We have moon minerals, though. Oh my goodness. This is incredible. Okay. If we reprocess 100 spherulite, we will get just 5 evaporite deposits. So 100 gets us 5. We need 400, means we're actually going to need 8,000 spherulite. We are a little bit more than 1% of the way there. But they didn't seem too fussed about us mining. We're going to go back and see how much we can get before they wake up. Those hulks have actually docked up or left. I mean, they're still in system. All right, we're going to get back to mining while we can. As long as they're going to let us have free reign of this asteroid belt, we're going to chew it down. Although, actually, maybe we should be mining this lavish spherulite preferentially, for as long as they're letting us just do it. It does give us 20% more evaporite deposits per load. All right, we're gonna get another 94 of this regular spherulite, so we have 2 reprocessable loads, and then if we still have this belt to ourselves, we're gonna move over to the lavish spherulite and live it up. Look at us, moon mining. I'm not sure I can stomach hiding the UI for too long. I just wanted to get a good shot of this. I did not think this day was coming so soon. 96 spherulite, okay. On to the lavish. There's only one lavish spherulite asteroid in the whole belt. Oh no, there's another one. There's 2. 2 lavish spherulite asteroids in the whole belt. I have a feeling we're not going to be left alone long enough to mine them both out entirely in our venture. But as long as they let us do it, we're going to try. So we've got 128. We can hold 500 units in our mining hold. So if we're going for 4,000, that's going to be 8 trips back to the station to drop it off. Let's bookmark this specific asteroid so we can warp straight back here next time. Now, even if a recon and 4 stealth bombers uncloak on us right now, we've got 100 spherulite already safely tucked away in our Albris hangar, which means one way or another, we have put the first dent in the moon mining portion of our mission, which was the last set of resources that we, up till this point, had not managed to collect even a single one of. So now when we look at the whole list of all of the different steps involved in going from 0 to Cynabal, each one of these tasks, we've at least made an inroad on. So from here on out, it's going to be a matter of figuring out how to do it efficiently and practically and without dying. But we know now that we can do it all. The fact that this ninja moon mining is feasible has turned the last big question of this run from a can we even do it at all to a how are we going to get it all done? We are getting there. Our ultimate goal is in sight in a way that it never has been before. All of those guys are still in system, and we have got a full load of spherulite and lavish spherulite without them ever undocking to try and contest it. I'm honestly wondering, it seems incredibly unlikely, but in my mind I'm imagining that they're all hiding in the Athanor, terrified of my lone venture, waiting for me to leave so they can come back out and mine in peace. If that's the case though, they're gonna have to wait a while. And I want to get some of that xenotime too, and maybe some of that titanite. So here's the thing, there have been a few different instances over the course of this run where I've ridden something off as entirely unachievable, because in order to do it, we were going to need basically all of the same types of resources that the Cynabal needs, like building T2 equipment or building that Astro. Now we do have all of those things. We have at least some of every type of thing that's involved in building a Astro, in building and inventing T2 modules. They're kind of on the table right now. And so I am going to collect a little bit of this copious titanite just because it reprocesses into that titanium, which is a moon resource, which is used in T2 production. And for modules and such, it's often used in quite small amounts. So I don't know what, if anything, we would ever use this titanium for, but I do know that having some titanium in our hangar might open some doors for us in the future. Now, we still want to make the most of this opportunity that we have right here. We want to be mining that xenotime and that sperrylite that gives us the resources we specifically need for our Cynabal, but I want to make sure that we get at least one load of this copious titanite so that we can reprocess that as well, and just know, maybe T2 something is in our future. Titanium. Required for titanium chromide reaction formula. Titanium chromide is required to build titanium carbide and nonlinear metamaterials. Titanium carbide, see? Look at this. Tech 2 ammo could be on the table. And what about this? What does this use to make? See, now look at that. Titanium is used to build a damage control 2 and a data analyzer 2. Now each of these Tech 2 manufacturing processes is going to be several layers deep, much like the Cynabal is. It's going to require a lot more than just titanium if we want to build a damage control 2. But as we're flying around and find moons that we can mine, if we just collect a little bit of each different moon mineral that we encounter, eventually we will find that we have all of the stuff we need to build some T2 items. Now, whether or not that happens before we build the Cynabal is an open question, but man, if we can suddenly build a core probe launcher 2, a damage control 2, a buzzard, in order to do so, we'd also need to buy the relevant reaction formulas, although those are relatively cheap, and we would also need to buy a BPO of the Tech 1 version of whatever we're hoping to build, and invent a Tech 2 blueprint copy. It's still a pretty involved process to build Tech 2 things from where we're at now. But the biggest barrier to that was always the moon mining. It may turn out that we don't collect enough moon minerals to ever build any of these things before we get around to building our Cynabal. But if it turns out that we've built our hangar up with everything it takes to build a magnetic field stabilizer 2, to build a damage control 2, to build a covert ops frigate, for example, then it will be worth our time to do so, because having access to that kind of stuff would be such a leg up on the rest of the grind that we need to do to get to our Cynabal. Now we've got 200 copious titanite here, and we spent enough time daydreaming about what we might do with it. It's time to get back to mining the lavish sperrylite, which we know will directly contribute to the Cynabal build process. Oh, Proteus. This was inevitable. Good fight. We're not even sad about that. We're not even sad about it. We have sperrylite. We have lavish sperrylite. We've made progress towards our goal. It's a little sad that that happened when our hold was mostly full and that we lost our 200 Titanite that we were so excited about. But losing Vera was always the expected outcome of this little misadventure. We got one full load of moon asteroids back into our hangar, and that makes it entirely worth it. We'll build another venture, we'll put it in the oven right now, and if that belt's still there when this venture finishes cooking, we'll go straight back. If we get one load back to safety for each venture that we have to build, that's totally worth it. That is the way that we get there. Our new venture, Valtrout, has finished building and she's wearing war paint made from Vera's spilled blood. And Albras is empty. Let's go see if they actually did mine all those rocks. Most of the asteroids are still here. Let's dig in. Valtrout, your moment has come. Just a quick continuity note. This moon mining actually happened after the events depicted in both episodes 36 and 37. But it's a self-contained adventure, and I wanted to get it online sooner rather than later, lest people be spoiled by Bill's killboard.